no time with this child. I don't know what this child would have sounded like. I don't know. This child never cut her first tooth. This child never got to say mama. All she did was smile. And that smile, girl, can light up a room. So I'll never know why people do what they do. Right.
Right.
But because of that smile, because of the person I know she would have been, I got to make sure that name lives on in whatever which way, shape, or form that I can.
Well, we got a nice little eavesdropper.
Ooh.
Who want to chime in on her little decision?
Ooh.
On is
we should play a little like intro music when we do that.
So this is an eavesdropper of, is she a supportive or helpful friend during a time of grief?
Can I be? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Ooh, I'm glad my face is not on this recording. I'm pretty terrible at supporting my friends during grievances. I will have to admit that my family weren't very emotionally involved, and stuff like this gets very awkward for me. So I am not supportive. I am ashamed of it, and yeah, there's just nothing else to say. I'm pretty uncomfortable talking about it, thinking about it. It's just not a subject I even want to think about.
So that's our little eavesdropper.
Ooh, well, hey, girl, thank you for sharing that with us for sure. And even though your voice is disguised, I can hear the pain in that. I can hear that this person is truly upset of not being as supportive as they feel like they should. Don't, to that person, don't beat yourself up over it. But, being a person who suffered from grief, being a person who's lost somewhat of their support system, I appreciate your honesty. I would have no problem with you being a friend of mine and saying, hey, Jen, this is out of my league. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'll be there for you when you call and ready to go out to eat. And, but as in terms of me being there for you when you need a shoulder to cry on or giving you that advice, I can't do that. I would have so much respect for that person being that upfront and honest with me.
A lot of people do not feel comfortable communicating, setting boundaries. It's just so much of things. But she stated that she's uncomfortable. The one thing that stuck out to me, she said her family wasn't very emotionally supportive. So
correct.
And I was just like thinking to myself, I didn't want to interrupt her. I'm just like, that's, at least she can identify the root as to why it's uncomfortable. Some people don't even know where to start. They just say like, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't feel comfortable talking about this, or they just like run away. So, I mean, I think it's great that she even identified it, but that's like the huge thing that stuck out to me. But everyone goes through grief. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, you breaking up with a friend, you and a family member not talking anymore, or death, like everyone goes through it. It's an emotional and mental thing. I've learned that going to therapy. I went to therapy, and she helped me like kind of just redefine everything. Because again, this person was like, that was like my sounding board, my support system, and everything wrapped in one, as long as a family member. But we all go through it. We all have our process. Some people take longer than others. It took a very long time. I'm gonna tell you, it took me a very long time, because that first year was hard. It was very hard. And then we were in the pandemic. So I just was like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like, please leave me be. And I don't even know how some of my clients even were okay with me. Like, I sent them an email like, I just lost someone. I'm not going to be working. I'm not going to be functional. But I think having a therapist, and everyone, if you find a therapist, you definitely need to vet your therapist. You got to have a chemistry with your therapist, especially with a heavy topic like this, a heavy touchy topic like this. You need to kind of just fill them out and make sure that you guys gel like good before you dive into such a sticky type of subject.
Correct.
So yeah, having that therapist, I specifically wanted a woman. Yeah, and just help her having me. She was more like, it was like a friend you're paying.
Yeah,
I like to say a friend you're paying, and she helped me do it. And she also, I wish I was very appreciative. She asked me, how do I learn? Like, which way do I learn? I said, by doing. I see and then I do. And so she had me do exercises, and that kind of broke up my monotony of just kind of just being so somber and sad. And my emotions are just ranging from low to high. And then I just started seeing the pattern just kind of just drift off, because I journaled a lot throughout that time. So I kind of just saw the pattern of her helping me just get back into things. And then once I got out of that slump, then that's when I just was like, well, I just noticed that, no one called and supported me. So then she just was like, all right, so do you want to dive into, what is your meaning of a friend now that you lost a close friend of yours? Because your needs are different than what it was before this person has passed away. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize it as that way. So her helping me work through that was also like a struggle. I'm just like, I don't know what I want. She's like, this is like similar to like a job description. You're going to have to write out like what you want in a friend, because your needs are different now. Your needs and wants are different. And she says, I'm going to raise another question. What are your priorities now? Like, is your love life more important, your work, or are you still putting your friends, because you're in your mid 30s? And I'm just like, man, that's another question I need to think about. So yeah, her just raising all these questions, and she's unbiased to who I am. Any information I provide to her, she's helping me kind of just work through it. It helped me to kind of just weed out what I want in a friend, what I need, and what's more important to me, and just narrow it down to having two good friends. I'm not one of those needy friends where I need to talk to you every day. I've never been like that. You could call me every other week. We could have a girls' night out every other month, or we could do like a girls' trip once a year, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, she helped me kind of just put that into place, and I'm just like, okay, I think I feel good about life now. And then that's when I started with this little project. So I think the impact, it's a bittersweet. I wish he was still here, but I know he's shining down.
He's right there. Yeah, he's definitely right there for sure.
Shining
for
down.
sure.
But yeah, my support system was not very, so